no, against that person if I'm going to file a case. So medyo hirap sila doon. So we can only coordinate with Facebook. We clarify that. We cannot tell them what to do. They cannot tell us what to do. So we're crafting now. We're going to actively engage with each other. They will accompany us in future seminars, because Facebook also has their own safety seminar online. Umiikot sila. So ano lang natin, we're going to marry our efforts, coordinate, and then we go together around.
MPC, Tina, we will entertain 2 more questions kasi mukhang nagmamadali yata si ano. Mukhang may nahabol si Secretary Panelo para makapag-proceed. Tina, please.
Yusek, na-identify nyo ba, categorize yung killings, media workers killed because of their expose on corruption?
Yes.
Vis-a-vis because they are corrupt and some members of other agencies are going after them because of corruption issues?
Like for instance?
Like ACDC journalists who killed.
Yeah.
How do you
Laging issue yan.
categorize?
The most interesting issue when we go around yan. So, journalists, they ask about it. So, Yusek, are you going to protect also ACDC or House House? Sabi ko, ang lagi ko reply dyan, my mandate is to protect media workers, not extortionists. So, if there are cases like that in your area, kayo po ang magpupulis dyan, not me. Kasi pagka, for example, meron ako sinabihan, alam mo, ikaw, may issue sa yung corruption. But to answer you bluntly, yes, I have sent messages to some practitioners who were subjects of intelligence reports to me na gumagawa ng kalokohan. So sinasabi ko sa kanila, I got this information. In fact, ako mismo nagtanong, ganito ka daw, etc. etc. Bro, tigilan mo yan kasi baka mapahamak tayo. Mas malaking problema natin. So nakikita po natin yon, but of course, it's taboo, no? If we're going to discuss that, dati, ngayon, buti na lang openly, we can discuss that. And yes, na-segregate naman natin, nalalaman natin, through the help of our media colleagues also.
So just on another follow-up. So sa mga seminars nyo po na nabibigay nyo yung message na ganyan sa mga, even sa probinsya.
Yes.
And also, if there are reports of corruption, how are you coordinating with the offices yung mga agencies involving reporters or some media personnel who are using the power of the press to do illegal activity?
Yan, oh. It's a concern mostly we place on the shoulders of our media partners. For instance, kung member siya ng National Press Club, ina-alert namin agad. Kung KBP, no, sinasabi natin agad na may ganitong problema si Kwan, si ganyan, may ganitong report. Because we cannot police them, no, although I am a journalist by heart up to now. I was a former editor of a newspaper. Pero ngayon kasi iba na eh. So laging nag-crossover na rin ako eh. Yun yung sinasabi kong crossover. I cannot act now as a journalist, no? So I cannot wear 2 hats at the same time. So laging pagka kinausap ko, ito na naman si Gaygo, kay kailamang gobyerno, I cannot do that. So I leave it up with the media partners.
Okay.
Thank you.
One last question for Yusek Aiko. Secretary Panelo, okay lang? 2 questions? Last 2 questions for Yusek Aiko. Joseph, and last kay Maricel. Okay.
Sir, let's just fine-tune your 102 na
Yes.
figures. No?
Yes,
So ano to? Na-segregate yun na yan na when you say 102 talaga media workers yan?
Not really.
Can we subtract the non-media workers?
Based on, tingnan natin yung sa yung CPJ, 40 yung sinasabi nila.
What are you saying now? 102 figure mo?
102 ang figures because our policy is that nobody's left behind. Kumbaga, kahit yung hinold up na napatay, kinukuha namin kasi baka mamaya pinag-aaralan namin, baka kunwaring hold up lang. So eventually, like in the case of Alexei Balongaita, the Cebu DJ, I was there when she was killed the night before eh. So inimbestigahan namin, she was able to shoot the perpetrator. Nabaril niya sa pisngi, and then naagaw sa kanya, nabaril siya sa dibdib, then she died. Pero nakuha natin yung suspect sa ospital. Dala-dala yung cellphone, etc. So yung case ni Alexei nasa atin din. So everything, everybody included, titingnan natin talaga isa-isa. But I would agree with the CPJ when they say nasa 40 lang yan. So our next, yung media related, yes, like yung Maguindanao Massacre, talaga man nag-cover sila in 32 eh. So ang di namin ma-account ngayon yung 8. So 40 minus 32, may 8 pa. That's why we're going to write CPJ and clarify what are those other 8 cases. Baka kasi may conviction na doon eh. So yun ang kuha natin. That our ano is ang context kasi hindi yung agad-agad pag may namatay sasabihin dinideclare media worker killing, media killing because black timer, etc. Kino-contextualize natin, pupunta tayo sa baba, kinakausap lahat to establish really kung talaga bang work-related. And sa most cases, hindi eh.
The 102, you cannot parang separate the data na talagang work-related?
We have, marami kasi yan, meron ng on trial, merong under investigation, merong for re-investigation. My point is, talagang lahat sila, hindi isa-isa natin. I think may conviction, right? So, yung
When you say conviction, established na it's work-related, yun ba yun?
Like in the case of Doc Jerry Ortega.
Okay, so may mga ganun na kailangan may determination of what really happened
Yes,
in the
ang
case.
mahirap kasi po sa CPJ, ang bigat ng definition nila ng solved, that it should be the court, di ba? Na magsabi na solved yan, solved. Eh, alam mo naman dito sa atin, when I was in a meeting with the UNESCO official before, and there was a Pinoy lawyer with me, so I told him, you ask attorney, sabi ko, how long it takes for the Philippines to litigate a simple theft case. Sabi niya, 5 years. So, na-shock yung UNESCO. So, imagine this murder ang pinag-uusapan natin. So, ang hirap talagang ma-attain yun na kailangan court daw, court. So, medyo nahirapan tayo doon.
So right now, your data is 102 media men who were killed. But as to this intention, you cannot yet establish whether it's work-related or not. Yes?
We were able to establish already, but yung pinaka, I will, maybe after this, I will email to you.
Because doesn't where you have a higher figure than the CPJ?
No. The CPJ figure kasi, again, yung kanila, sinasabi, in relation to their work. But
that's why I'm asking your data in relation to their work.
In relation to their work, let's follow the CPJ report.
So you're adopting it?
No, not really adopting.
You said follow.
I mean, it's not really following or adapting it, but we agree with that data. Okay, so andun na yung 32 Maguindanao massacre plus yung other 8 that may be in our definitely it's probably definitely I mean it's in our list already.
Okay.
But it doesn't yun nga yung we should not jump into wrong conclusions na kasi ganun kagrabe, etc. When in fact yun nga kahit yung sinakal nung asawa nasa records din namin.
Last question, please.
MPC reminder lang ha. May hinahabol yatang flight siya si Secretary Panelo.
Sir, just one last.
Sige, one last kay Joseph.
What is the agency's attitude towards online harassment?
Agencies, what?
Your agency's attitude about online harassments of media workers?
Yeah, of course. That's we give that focus really, like di ba yung nangyari sa'yo. But there are 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Like yung kay Joseph dati, inano ko lang yon, di ba? I did something there to avoid anything untoward from happening. Pero ang mahalaga kasi dito, yung partnership for instance with Facebook. So nag-usap na kami, pwedeng i-report sa kanila and then they check their community standards. Kung pareho, ite-take down nila. If not, meron pala silang law enforcement division.
Sige na.
Sige na.
Masyado lang 1 hour ka na.
Sec Panelo, sir.
Sige na, ako na.
Question kay Secretary Panelo. First question kay...
Sir, on the militarization of BOC. Your statement on the militarization of BOC.
Oh, I have already made a statement. There are certain quarters raising the issue on unconstitutionality. But then again, as we said earlier, the provisions of the Constitution is very clear. One, it says civilian authority is supreme over the military, and the president precisely is the head of government, head of state. And so when he makes those orders, it's constitutional, though. There is a provision in the Constitution which says specifically Article 16, if I'm not mistaken, Section 5, that no armed forces of the Philippines member can be appointed or designated. But the president is not appointing or designating any particular member of the armed forces. As we said earlier, these people will be there first to make their presence felt, to create the military presence that hopefully will intimidate those corrupt people there. Number two, to assist them. Now, we must not forget that under Article 2, Section 2 and 3 of the Constitution, it says that the primary duty of the government is to serve and to protect the people. The head of that government is the president. So in protecting and serving the people, the president has to consider that, one, there should be peace and order. Number two, he should consider the general welfare of the people. And let us not also forget that earlier on, the president has declared a state of lawlessness. And the provision of the Constitution says when there is lawless violence, then the president can call out the armed forces of the Philippines. Now, the lawless violence certainly would refer to what is happening in BOC. There is a state of lawlessness there. If you can bring in hundreds of kilos of drugs, then there must be some grave wrong in that area, and there is a state of lawlessness there. It violates the law, it violates the Constitution. Now, it endangers the security of our countrymen. Certainly, the president will have to do something about it. Now, if people, those critics will insist on Article 16, Section 5, saying that no member of the armed forces can be appointed or designated, this provision has to be considered in relation to the previous provisions that I have already cited. You cannot make this president hostage to a particular provision without relating to previous provisions that grant him the authority as well as the obligation and the duty to serve and to protect this nation.
Okay. MPC question. Follow up, Tina?
So sir, yung prevalent corruption in the BOC, sakop yun ng provision on lawlessness.
Oh, definitely, because
Declaration.
when you say lawless violence, it's not just physical violence. You do violence to the Constitution, you do violence to the law, that's a state of lawlessness.
Thank you, Tina. Joseph?
Sir, clarification, lawlessness is not equivalent to lawless violence, or in your opinion, they're equivalent?
State of lawlessness would include state of lawless violence.
Okay, so violence not in the not as we understand it in layman speak, no? But you're saying violence against the Constitution.
Not as we understand in the limited sense.
Okay, so so there's a need to suppress.
Yes, precisely. The Constitution says to prevent. One is to prevent. If there is none yet and there is one coming, then the president can prevent it.
All right, assuming that that you can do it operationally, what should we see at the BOC?
Well, as I said yesterday, initially they would be there, making their presence felt, and they will assist. I think the very mere presence of these people there would, I think, do something right.
When you say assist, in what kind of form, sir?
Being there would be assisting them in that sense.
Kumbaga, naglagay ka ng gwardiya.
Yeah, effectively, ganun ang mangyayari.
Or
Kaya
display.
siyempre, kumbaga, ino-audit mo sila, tinitingnan mo. And siyempre, before you can audit, you have to know the procedure also.
Will they take over the functions of the agencies, the agents there?
Sa ngayon, hindi. But if it comes to a point na kailangan, the Constitution allows it. I will disagree with those who say that you cannot do it.
Okay, assuming nga, sir, parang kailan sila mag-take over ng mga function? We're
Then-
talking about them physically doing what the
Then
customs agents are doing.
that would depend on the assessment of the Customs Commissioner designate.
So as of now, the order of the president is just when your interpretation nandun lang for display, for presence.
Well, the order of the president is to Customs Commissioner Guerrero do what is needed to be done there.
Meaning,
Meaning
up
then
to what point?
Guerrero will have to assess what is required, and he will do it.
So sir, parang ano lang, deployment lang na parang
Siguro, well, I
checkpoint.
do not know exactly what the Commissioner Guerrero would do, but
Okay.
he has the blanket authority from the president to do what is required under the law.
As far as pwede din silang takeover of physical functions of the people there. Meaning they're going to do the auditing and the screening and everything.
Right now, yes. Hindi na mangyayari. But depending nga kay Commissioner Guerrero, hindi pa natin alam eh. He has not said anything about how he will do it. We have to give him the chance, the leeway, the opportunity to assess the situation. And then I'm sure he will be reporting to the president and to the nation what is to be done.
Thank you, Joseph. MPC, reminder lang, baka pwede, one question, two follow-ups. Okay lang. Para, entertain lang muna tayo sa ano kay Julie Aurelia from PDI, does Malacañang consider this to still be in effect? If so, how does Malacañang plan to work around EO 292 to support the legality of the AFP's takeover of the BOC temporarily?
Ano yan? 282? Ano yan? What provision is that?
EO 292, sir.
It's Section 17 general provisions that do not allow the detail of AFP personnel to civilian positions.
Oh, that is preceded by, as I said, that's only a circular. This is a constitutional provision I'm citing.
Nonetheless, sir, what happens to the chain of command at the military, at the armed forces?
The chain of command, the president is the supreme, top. So they'll be following the chain of command. In fact, the General Galvez has already issued that he will follow the instructions of the president.
Nonetheless, can the active personnel follow the retired General Guerrero in orders? Can active soldiers or military officers follow retired General Leon Guerrero bilang civilian leader in the BOC?
They're following General Galvez. The instruction of General Galvez is to go there and assist.
Do you expect them carrying their firearms, short or long, within the VOC compound?
I'm not sure about it. I do not know. It depends on General Galvez.
Thank you.
It's his call.
Raymond, one question, two
So,
follow-ups.
just to clarify, in the first place, seryoso ba ang Pangulo?
He has never been not serious in any of his undertaking as president of this country.
So, he really meant to deploy military.
Well, certainly, of course. He has directed the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the AFP, through its Chief of Staff, has issued a directive that it will follow the instructions of the President.
Sir, you mentioned the word kanina, they will be there to intimidate. Can you expound?
Now, what I mean, we Filipinos look at the traffic. If the policeman is not there, most commuters or drivers violate the law. You put a policeman there, and suddenly they're all in line. That's what I meant.
Thank you, Secretary. Other matters, MPC? Customs. Joseph.
Sir, talk to the customs employees now, no? Now, given what the president had said, ano ba ang dapat nilang gawin?
Well,
Do they stay in their position or are they in floating status? Because of what the president said, that the
think-
military will take over the
I think
BOC.
they should wait for the official memorandum coming from the head of the BOC.
From the BOC. And wala pang forthcoming.
We have to ask the designate BOC commissioner.
As
Meanwhile, I think the service is continuing. There is no complaint that something has gone awry there with respect to paperwork, paper processing.
so absent that memorandum, sir, we status quo.
Well, what do you mean status quo?
Absent that memorandum.
Well, right now they're still operating.
Yes. So wala yung military, when do we start seeing the deployment of our guards
We
there?
will have to wait for the
Guerrero.
commissioner designate, as well as the instruction of the AFP Chief of Staff, following the instruction of the Commander-in-Chief.
Would you say, sir, that the directive of the president is clear as far as what he wants to do with
Well,
the
certainly,
POC?
because the AFP Chief of Staff has already issued a directive,
Mhm.
which means it is clear to him what he will do.
Okay. Okay.
Still on BOC questions, MPC? Lipat na tayo. Okay, sir, patanong lang po ni Ms. Tina Maralit. May nabanggit si SOJ Guevara about Representative Nograles being appointed as Cabinet Secretary. Any truth to this, and for which department, sir?
He is one of those being considered. The announcement will be made by the President himself as to the other members of the Cabinet who will replace those who filed their certificates of candidacy.
Sure, in connection with that, from PR Aniada, can you confirm what DOJ Secretary Guevara said, that military personnel will be detailed or seconded to the BOC? Thus, there is no appointment to speak of who will use these detailed orders. Is this enough to fulfill the constitutional requirement that military cannot be designated a civilian position in any capacity?
I think that question has already been addressed earlier.
Thank you, Secretary. Questions? Maricel. Maricel Pia.
Good morning. Sir, just to follow up on the Cabinet Secretary, you mentioned that Congressman Nograles is one of those being considered for the
Yes,
position. Who
yes.
are the other people being considered,
I
sir?
don't know the others, but I know I've heard of him as one of those leading.
So, ibig sabihin, sir,
Nominees.
hindi pa sigurado na siya yung magiging next Cabinet Secretary despite the announcement of Secretary
let's
Guevara.
just wait for the President to announce. It's the President's call.
Mhm. Sir, aside from the Cabinet Secretary, meron pa ring other positions na vacant. Sino-sino na po yung mag-fill up ng positions na yon? Because I understand you mentioned last week that Malacañang will announce it this week.
Yeah, that's what the President told me. So let's just wait for the announcement. It is forthcoming,
Thank you, Maricel.
most likely after Undas.
Salamat, Maricel. Pia Gutierrez.
Sir, what about reports that Senator Gringo Honasan will be the DICT head?
No confirmation yet.
Thanks, sir.
MPC, questions? Okay na? Baka may question pa kayo kay Yusek Eco.
Si Rico Puno nga pala, namatay na. Kaibigan ko yun. Si Rico J.
Statement.
Well, we express our condolences to a legend that is Rico J. Puno. He has contributed a lot in the music industry, and personally, I feel sad. We had a duet, I think, must be 4 years ago, in my show. He's a personal friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Salvador
Ladies
Panelo.
and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Ah.
Morning. Sir.
Baka may question pa kayo kay Yusek Eco. Papaunahin lang natin si Secretary Panelo.
Para matapakan. Thank you.
Amo siya lang.
Thank you.
Okay. Maraming salamat, MPC, Yusek Eco, Secretary Panelo.
Thank you, thank you.
Balik tayo sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV4.